Here we go with the District 1 AAA Section West tournament at West Chester Rustin High School. This one is going to be, I feel, a pretty competitive team race with a few teams that have a shot at taking the title here, and some real, some of our best wrestlers in District 1 will be on display this tournament, which also makes it fun and a good one, and tough to predict at that. So let's jump right in. 106 pounds. We have the favorite at this weight class will be Keanu Manuel from Dangtown East. He's a sophomore. He's 29-2. He's the 1 seed. Dominic Findora, freshman, 33-8 from Dangtown West. And you have Cannon Hershey, Darrell Barrett, Billy Wilson, Matt Ricci, Elijah Juan Levelace are all guys, even Matt Peretta from Sun Valley will be in contention to finish in the top 4 here. But, here's how I see it shaking out. I see Manuel winning this. Kind of he's the top dog here. He's the big fish in this weight class. And, this one will kind of be, the seeds don't exactly hold. I got Manuel finishing first, Findora second, Cannon Hershey, the 3 seed, finishing third, and Billy Wilson, the 5 seed from Henderson, winning, taking fourth. Really, the key match in this bracket is that quarterfinal matchup between Wilson and Darrell Barrett from Kennett. I feel the winner of that one gets out, and I think Wilson's going to win. He's already got a win over him this season. That's how I see this one playing out. It's one of those brackets where you look at it and you say, well, the key matchup happens in this quarterfinal, and this guy that wins this match, he's going to get out, and the other guy won't. If things play out the way I feel they should, and that's your top 4, Manuel, Findora, Hershey, and Wilson heading to regionals next week at Satterton. So we go over to 113 pounds. This is why I talked a little bit about this in the preview of the South. Kind of doesn't make sense, the seeding, but it is what it is. McMonagle owning wins over Lucier from Coatesville, but Lucier gets the 1 seed nevertheless. It's neither here nor there, and all gets sorted out because they are going to wrestle it out. This one, I do not see the seeds holding so much. I see McMonagle winning, taking home the championship there for the Warriors of West Chester Henderson. Lucier taking second. Third, in his home gym, Jimmy King taking third place. And then another one of those situations, just like 106, that quarterfinal matchup between the 4 and the 5, Ben Smith and Chris Wood. The winner, I believe, gets out, and the loser doesn't. And, I got Wood from Garnet Valley beating Smith from Oxford. For me, it comes down to Wood, the body of work. And I feel like he's been tested. He's more battle-tested than Smith. Garnet Valley, you guys heard it before, better room, better schedule. It's what it comes down to, and I just think Wood gets the win, and it propels him to taking 4th at that weight class and getting himself to regionals as a freshman, which is a pretty big thing. No surprise in that Garnet Valley program that's been churning out guys and getting to regionals and beyond for years now. Moving to 120 pounds, one of our top pound-for-pound guys in the region, Killian Delaney, is by far head and shoulders above everyone else in this weight class. I got him finishing first. Runner-up in this weight class, Kevin Quinn from Oxford. And then it gets interesting after that. You look down the list and you have, in no particular order, I'm just going from top to bottom of the bracket. You have Andrew Luke from West Chester East. You have Griffin Hollingsworth from Garnet Valley. You have Trent Kokersberger from Kennett. You have Nico Part-Sinakis from Pencrest, and Chase Whartonby from Chichester. All guys with 20-plus wins, and any one of these guys to win it. But I see it shaking out with Hollingsworth taking third and Kokersberger taking fourth. So in this weight class, even though it's pretty deep as far as talent goes, and for one weight class, I think I see the seeds hold here at this particular one. I'm sorry, I take that back. I see the 4 and a 3 flip-flopping, with Hollingsworth getting the win over Kokersberger for third place. But this is one where you could kind of just take that group I said with the 20-plus wins and throw darts at the dartboard, essentially, and any one of those guys could be interchanged. But I just think that the past, I guess, of what Kokersberger and Hollingsworth, their wins and their resume, just seem to stick out a little bit more than all the other guys. But again, Delaney runs away with this. Delaney, I feel, gets bonus points every match en route to win the championship, staking a claim for an OW of this tournament. And moving on to 26 to a weight class again with 5 guys getting buys into the quarters. 126 pounds, just wouldn't expect to see it. You're going to have some good matches in the quarters in this weight class. Corey Salenza is in my opinion, the class and is going to be the champ in this weight class. But there's going to be some good matches to get to that final. Even in the quarters, the Politi-Johnson matchup in the quarters. Politi from Great Valley Jr., Cooper Johnson from Oxford, sophomore, 25-6, is going to be a good match. I have Politi winning that one. And then, you've Dominic Chockless from Unionville as the 4 seed, and Josh Villarengo, the 2 seed from West Chester Rustin. Looking at this one, I got Chockless getting to the finals, beating Villarengo in the semis to bump over and get there. And then, I got Politi taking 3rd and Johnson coming back and taking 4th after losing the quarters, losing twice to Politi on the day, but beating Villarengo in the wrestlebacks in that consolation semifinal to get himself into the qualify for regionals, get himself in that consolation final in a rematch with Politi, but dropping a second one to Politi nevertheless. So you have Salenza, Chockless, Politi, and then Johnson are your top 4 here at 126 pounds. Moving into 132 pounds, a weight class with another one with one of our top guys in the region, Lucas Ritchie. Guy, it seems like he's just been around and forever, and just all he does is win matches for that Downtown East squad. And this weight class, not a whole lot of balance to it. You got Lucas Ritchie and everyone else. I think you see Ritchie and Christian Reed from Pencrest in the finals, freshman against a senior, and Reed. I think Ritchie wins this one, bonus points. Most likely, I'll call it a fall. Again, staking his claim for a possible OW with the dominant performance in this weight class. I think you got to take into consideration that there's not a whole lot of talent on his level in this weight class, so I think that for as dominant as he could be, that has to be taken into consideration. I think finishing 3rd will be the 3 seed Justin Tran from West Chester Henderson, and finishing 4th. I'm going to say Landon Meredith from Oxford, let those seeds hold, but really comes down to that 4-5 matchup in the quarterfinal, I believe, between Charlie Baldessari and Landon Meredith. The winner of that match gets out, because then they can, they avoid, they get to the semis and they drop straight down. They avoid that cross bracket in the quarterfinals that would land them in a match with, a Justin Tran. So, just something to ponder there. That Baldessari Meredith match is a big one coming out in the quarters for this weight class, that is. So again, I got Lucas Ritchie, Reed, and Tran. Then Meredith is who I'm going to go with. I think Meredith gets the win over Baldessari from West Chester Rustin, a battle of 2 tough sophomores. Moving on, we go to 138 pounds, and not one of the, there's no real star in this weight class, so it makes it fun that, there could be any number of guys that win it. I think in this one, it's the winner of this weight class will come out of that semifinal in the bottom half of the bracket. I believe it'll be Brandon Sheffield versus Gavin Hollingsworth in that semifinal. And like I said, the winner comes out of there. I think I give the nod to Sheffield right now, and Sheffield wins, gets to the final, and wins the the title, beating Jacob Lehman from Unionville in the finals. Hollingsworth wrestling back for third place and beating Jet Lucas Murphy from Dangtown East. Again, like this weight class, tough draw for Smarcola. He's going to go up top. And Laredo, same thing. He's going to lose and go up top, and he'll get the loser in that semifinal, which would be either I think it'll be Jet Lucas Murphy. However, I think that match with him and Jamison Eddy could in the quarterfinals could be has potential to be a good one. But they'll get that those guys I mentioned, Smarcola and Laredo, will cross bracket out that semifinal or those quarterfinal losses and have to bump up and deal with that on the way through. You can't count out Connor McMonagle either. He's got a tough draw. He wins and he drops down the lower half of the bracket, but he's gonna have to go through probably either Sheffield or Hollingsworth, to get through. But he's a tough out nevertheless. So moving on to 145. I'm sorry, let me just back up just to reiterate. I got Sheffield winning it. Brandon Sheffield, Jacob Lehman second place, Gavin Hollingsworth third, and Jet Lucas Murphy finishing fourth. So the top four going through, just not in the numeric order. We go to 145 pounds, and Nick Barnhart is the number one seed, and I think him and Brennan Stocku are on a collision course for the finals in this one. And this one I think is one of those weight classes that you got two guys that are just clearly better than everybody else in the bracket. And I think Stocku and Barnhart are going to cruise to the final. But then I think Barnhart's just on a different level than Stocku and will win it. I've picked against Stocku in the past, and he's made me look bad in last year's postseason. But I just, Barnhart's a return qualifier. Stocku, again, I went on record saying, he wrestled that last year down the stretch with that torn ACL for as long as he could, and I believe he tore in the match against Petrocelli that he did win in the district final, and my hat's off to him for doing it and then sticking it out and win that match. Ultimately, that ended his season because he didn't wrestle at regionals. So I can't count the guy out because he showed like grit and toughness like you wouldn't believe last year to do that. So again, Brendan, don't take too much offense to this. I'm going to go with Barnhart, and, I won't be upset if you prove me wrong. This one, I see Bobby English, or Robert English from West Chester Henderson taking third here. And again, we talk about big-time quarterfinal matches, and a match you got to win to put yourself in position to qualify and get out and get through. That Desmond Perry, Sam Elson quarterfinal match in the top half of the bracket is enormous for both these guys because it puts them down on the other side of it will put them on the opposite side of the bracket. As I was saying, it's important to win that match in the quarters and get to the semis because it'll keep that guy that wins away from Robert English in the wrestlebacks on the other side. So that winner between Desmond Perry and Sam Elson is huge. The loser going down in the lower half of the bracket, and we'll see English on the way through in that Conci semi, and I think English wins that matchup. Probably 9 times out of 10. So your top four there again at 145 are Barnhart, Stocku, English, and Perry. Moving on to 152 pounds, and this one is unique. I'm going to go with who I think the best wrestlers are in this weight, or best wrestler is in this weight class, but I'm not sure how healthy he is. Down the stretch, Luke Fair was hurt. I'm going to say healthy Luke Fair is the best guy in this bracket. Excuse me, I really believe that. I think he's the top dog here, but I know he was a little nicked up from what I heard. He's back and he's better, but again, it hampered him down the stretch with especially district duels not having him at their service, and that could have meant a difference for that Henderson team in some of those matches, not necessarily the Boyertown match, but in the wrestlebacks once when on the way through. Need some close matches, but anyway, Fair is healthy and good to go. He's the guy here at 152 pounds. I think he wrestles in the finals. Alex Pransner from West Chester Rustin, sophomore. He is the 2 seed. And then after that, this is where I don't think the seeds hold, and this is a weight class that's not really deep. So I think you see Dan Clifford from West Chester East finishing 3rd, and then Tymir Bush from Chichester finishing 4th, in a weight class that just has 4 guys that are better than everyone else in the bracket, and those 4 guys, Luke Fair being the guy that's the best of the 4. Just how I see it shaking out. So you got Fair from Henderson, Prancer from Ruston, Clifford from East, in a 1-2-3 West Chester dominance of this weight class, and then Chichester's Tymir Bush finishing 4th. Moving on to 160 pounds, and this weight class got reseeded, and Colin Hurley again inserted as the 3 seed. And again, the guy, I'm not sure how healthy he really is. He's battled injuries for as long as I can remember, and he's fun to watch when he's healthy and able to just let it fly. Man, he was fun to watch as a sophomore, just going out and beating guys, just being tougher and more athletic. Not necessarily always the better wrestler, and he wrestles wide open, and I don't know how much that style comes out now, because I don't know how truly healthy he is. He's 10-5 as a senior, and he's a 3 seed. But I see this Markel Hundell from Chichester. He's 30-1 on the season. I think he's the guy that walks away out of this Rustin gym with the championship at 160 pounds on Saturday. I think he's going to wrestle Hurley in the finals, and I think he beats Hurley. He's going to win over him already. I believe he pinned him earlier in the season, and I think he beats him again. Looking at the 3rd and 4th place, again, this weight class, you got about 6 guys that have the opportunity to do something here. Xavier Morgan, Spencer Ugla, Cobe Bauman, and Austin Philippone from Garnet Valley. And it comes down to those quarterfinal matches for me, and I don't want to keep resorting to those, but they're so big. If you can get to that semifinals and stay away from cross bracketing in certain situations, it just makes your life so much easier. So when you look at these big quarterfinal matches, in between the 4 and the 5 with Bauman and Ugla, I got Ugla winning, getting into that semifinal and losing to Hudnell, and it keeps him in the top half of the bracket, gives him an opportunity to get in that 3rd and 4th place match. And I think Ugla beats Bauman beats him twice, beats him in the quarterfinal, and turn around beats him again in the consolation final for 3rd place. So I got Spencer Ugla finishing 3rd, and I got Coe Bauman from West Chester Henderson finishing 4th. Bauman beating Xavier Morgan from Glen Mills in that Consi semi on the other side to get into to qualify for regionals in an upset. So you have Hudnell from Chichester, Hurley from West Chester Rust, and Ugla from Dangtown East, and Bauman from West Chester Henderson rounding out your top 4 there, qualifying for regionals next week at Souderton. And one of the more contested weight classes, 160, so it was a fun one to go through and run matchups and look at who's wrestled who. Moved on to 170 pounds. This is another good weight class, and again, a lot of talent. Max Hale, returning state medalist, he's a junior, he's 32-2. He's the hands-on favorite to win this bracket. But you go down the list here and you go through the bracket. I'm just going to go top to bottom. You got Dylan Conlin, Nick Bainey, Will Johnson, Chris Hatzapavlidis, and obviously Andrew DiBernardo, returning state qualifier from West Chester East, and all in this bracket, that you have that chance to finish top 3. Like I said, I think Max Hale or Maximus Hale. Looking forward to seeing your mullet, Max. Can't wait. You tweeted at me when I mentioned the DeSanto's mullet. Can't wait to see all of it flow in all of its glory. Hope you still have it at that. I think Hale, like I said, hands down is the top guy here. I believe he'll wrestle DiBernardo in the final, and ultimately beat him. DiBernardo have a nice senior season. He's another guy like Hurley. Seems to have been around forever. And, DiBernardo, they've always said, I just like watching. He gets on top. He's real tough on top. But I don't think, I think he'll cruise to the final. But Hale's going to be way too much for him once he gets there. And then you go down and you look at you look at what happens through the wrestlebacks. And I think when it settles, I think you got Will Johnson, the clear number 3 here when it's all said and done, and I think you're gonna see Dylan Conlon from Garnet Valley sneak in at number 4. And I look at who Conlon's wrestled, and I think he's gonna beat Baney in that quarterfinal match to connect to the semifinals, and ultimately Hale's gonna be too much for him. And I think Johnson's going to last and get to that semifinal and lose to DiBernardo, and then those two will drop down. And they'll have a tough match in that Conci semi. You might be Hatziplavitas in there with them, or Baney. And I just think when it settles, you're going to see Conlon versus Johnson, and Johnson winning. And you got that Hale, DiBernardo, Johnson, Conlon, your top 4 heading out to regionals. Moving on to 182, one of the guys I really enjoy watching wrestle, and I'm sure everyone does, because he just like Hurley kind of lets it fly. You never know when a spladle's coming from Tyler Mosa from Unionville. He's a junior. He's a returning medalist as well. Kind of came on the scene. I mean, people knew about him locally. For what he's done, but really kind of busted onto the state scene last year and getting to Hershey and doing well there. This weight class, some balance to it. You got 2 guys that are clearly better than the others, and that's Mosa, like I just said, and Chase Milnick from Downingtown West. And I think you're gonna see those 2 in the final, with Mosa winning, beating Milnick. And then as we go and start to look at the other guys in this weight class, you have Mason Baldwin, you have Anthony Chero, you have Chris Buonocore from Avon Grove, are all guys that have opportunity to get in those last 2 spots. When it's all said and done, I think you're going to see Mason Baldwin and Chris Buonocore, and I apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly, from Avon Grove, go at it for 3rd and 4th place, with Baldwin taking 3rd. And in that match, so you had like 5 guys vying for like 4 spots, like 5 guys that are kind of, in my opinion, clearly a little bit better than the rest of the competition in their weight class. So moving on to 195 pounds. And you have not a I guess a weight class with, again, you got like 5-6 guys that could make some noise in this weight class. But I think Joe Schaefer is the class weight class, the class of 195 pounds. I think if he's on his game, he wins this one going away. He's 19-2 on the year. He's a senior. And in years past, I think I've seen him wrestle lights out, and I've also seen him take some losses that kind of make me scratch my head a little bit. So he's wrestling well this year, and I'm hoping he puts it together and goes on a little run here. I think he takes 1st place. I think he sees Chris Matero from Chichester in the final, and gets the win and takes the title, 195 pounds. And then it's kind of play out. I think we all can look at the bracket and see how it's going to play out. I'm going to say you see Zach Jones take 3rd place in his home gym, senior from West Chester Rustin, and he's going to beat Sam DeTro DiTrolio from Garnet Valley, who's a freshman at 220 or a freshman 195 pounds, and he's another big guy from Garnet. That's a freshman following the footsteps of Colton Deary, someone I'm going to talk about in a little bit when we get to his weight class. I don't know where Garnet Valley gets these big guys from. I'm sure a lot of schools would like to have big guys as a freshman, 195 and above, winning 20-plus matches in a season. But like I said, Schaefer, Matero, Jones, and DiTrolio are your top 4, in my opinion, at 195 pounds. So let's jump into 220. And finally, just recently, we got to see Hunter Katka back in action. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree. Hunter Katka wins this one going away. And my only concern with him is lack of mat time. I don't think it's going to affect him this weekend. I don't think it's going to catch up to him next weekend. And hopefully he can use these next 2 weeks to work to get into wrestling shape. He missed a lot of time. I understand he may or may not have been cleared and has been training and just been waiting to get back to live. But I'm hoping that he's able to hit the ground running. I'm hoping that is the case, so that he hits the ground running because he is a returning state champ for us and favored to win it again. But I'm just speculating and concerned that he won't have the gas tank to do it. I hope I'm wrong on that, but just speculation on my part. He's going to run away with this title here at 220 pounds. After Katka, he's going to see Pat Cusack from Downingtown West in the final. And from there, I'm going to go out and say that this is one of those weight classes where you got 5-6 guys vying for those 4 spots. And you're going to see Gavin Range, I think, takes 3rd. West Chester Henderson Sr. and Matt Richardson, Chichester Jr., taking 4th place. But don't count out Owen Walsh in his home gym as senior from West Chester Rustin, or Joe Marone from Garnet Valley can definitely make some noise in this weight class. Marone has an opportunity to go out in that quarterfinal against Richardson. You don't know what's going to happen. And again, Terrence Averett from Glen Mills and Gavin Range in that quarterfinal is going to be an interesting match, because again, you don't know, at 220 pounds, a guy can fall the wrong way, and it can mean the difference between winning and losing. And Averett's 21-4 in the season, but why I pick Range? I think Range just had some tougher competition, and he's been a lot tougher matches up to this point. So, moving on to heavyweight, guy I mentioned earlier, sophomore from Garnet Valley, 33-4 in a year, number 1 seed Colton Deary is returning regional qualifier. Regional qualifier, 220 pounds as a sophomore. And he's now he's finally more so growing into his body. And we always knew he could wrestle. His youth exploits were there, and the resume was there. But he's a guy last year that just maybe lacked a little bit of firepower and horsepower for his size, and won a lot of matches based on just out wrestling guys who were out wrestling men. I remember watching, I think it was Tyler LaRocca from Springford. I'm not sure if that 100% was who it was, wrestling him at regionals or at districts. And LaRocca is a senior, just like a man, and Deary just a freshman, just out wrestling him. So it's fun to see the success he's having now, and he's just a sophomore. He's only going to get better and bigger at that. And I think he is the hands down the top guy in this weight class. I think in the end, in the final season, to see Sam Blevins from Oxford, and he beats Blevins for the title here at 285. And then as you look down at what's left, you have any one of these guys: Matt McHale, Gabe Walsh, Zach Sharaf, Aiden Jeter, the 4th seed. You have Hugh Lemon Kishi and Elijah Lyons. I mean, that's like 6 guys that have an opportunity to qualify, and there's like 2 spots left. I think Blevins and Deary are head and shoulders the top 2 guys in this weight class. However, the next tier of heavyweights in this weight class, it could be any one of them, but I'm gonna say I like Jeter to take third. I see Jeter beating Lemon Kishi in that 3rd place match. And again, I ran a lot of the matchups and look at who's beating who, and I don't like to solely rely on that, but it definitely influenced the decision I made on those 2. But Sharaf, I could see winning, beating Jeter in that quarterfinal, or upsetting Jeter at that. And the other one is Elijah Lyons, making some noise in the wrestlebacks, even giving Lemon Kishi a little bit of trouble there in that quarterfinal. So that's what I have there for 285 is Deary, Blevins, Jeter, and then Lemon Kishi from West Chester East. And looking at the team race in this one, with these new lines drawn, and again, the West is kind of like the Chessmont with a few extras, and what I like about it is the one of the extras coming in from the Central League at Garnet Valley really makes this a competitive tournament. I'm thinking I'm going to go out and say I think Henderson wins this tournament, just because I think they have depth, and they're going to score some bonus points at some weight classes. Garnet Valley, I think, finishes 2nd. And then you kind of you can flip a coin between Rustin and West, but I'm not going to waver and just say, flip a coin. I'm going to go out and say I think Rustin finishes 3rd in their home gym, and Downingtown West finishes 4th. So, round out the, like I said, that top 4, you got Henderson, Garnet Valley, Rustin, and Downingtown West. So there you have it for the West section of District 1. I still feel funny saying section, but I don't want to upset anyone, so I want to make sure that I include it. That's what I got for this one, and please take a listen to all the other ones, and let me know what you think.